validation summary one dot validation group, sorry, not validation group, style of display is equals to none. Okay, display style of display is equals to none. I am saying what it will do, it does not display the error messages for the first time, else display it. Style display so with this line of code, for the first time when the page loads, it will not display any group, none, no group. But else, for the if you post back the form, it will say, it will validate that group. Which group? Which does not have any name. If you say G1, it will validate for G1. Let's see. So it should not display the validation summary right now. Obviously it is not displaying. And it is validating, and it is telling that this field is required. It is validating that. When you try to submit the page, at that time page will be posted back to the server, and we said in the else part, validate the group, validate the validation group. Which group? Which does not have any name. Getting any doubts still here? Any confusion is there, miss? Ask me here itself. Okay, shall I proceed? Fine. The next thing is, these validators are working because of JavaScript function, which will be appended, which will be what you call, will be rendered to the browser. Okay, web server will render these validators properties, it will take, and it will render the JavaScript function. See in the source, view page source. Okay, we have taken this function, that function is available on submit document dot, okay, script is there, type JavaScript, you can see JavaScript function here. You can see here one function on submit, if type of validation submit equals function, okay, it returns some false, so automatically it will generate the JavaScript functions, every validator. So what if in my browser JavaScript enabled is not there? So in the button submit, we are checking a condition if the page is valid or not. Page will be valid when there is not a single validation error is there on the page. So this will return true. I am saying not. If it is invalid, false. Creating a string. So for all the errors available on the page in respective validators, I am taking a base validator, obviously looking for some value, bv in page.validators. This will return all the validators properties available on the page. page dot validators, all the properties I am trying to save in BV base validator. If not BV dot valid, if it is again checking of that particular invalid, any error messages is there, any validator is failed, error message plus or equals to the error message of BV base validator break, and that we are writing in a response dot redirect, response dot write error message. Let's see what is happening over here. I'll save the changes and I will browse this page with Internet Explorer. Browse with, right click, browse with, save changes, Internet Explorer, browse. So right now it will not validate at client side, but it will validate at server side. Okay, try to submit the page, submit button. See here, response dot write, please provide full name, please select state, please provide confirm password. Response dot write we have given because these three validators failed, and these three validators error messages we have appended in a string. Okay, we have appended error message plus or equals to error message plus or equals to bv dot error message, the base validator error message, whose error message, whose validator is failed. Okay, that we are writing. So we are validating it server, even though, see, the form is submitted even though the error is there on the page. It is submitting. It is submitting to the server and it is validating the user input also. Okay, we have got these error messages because of that. Based on it, we can based on this code, we can perform so many actions. If JavaScript is disabled on the client browser, even though we can perform some actions in this block. Here just we are displaying the error messages, but actually the code will be what, when you are trying to save into the database, first line of code will be you need to check whether the page is valid or not. If you are using validation, some validation controls on your web page, first line of code will be this. After that everything. Okay, if the page is valid, here we have taken not, if the page is valid, save into the database, else display the error messages. Okay, when you have used validation controls on a page, first line of code of that will be, the button click code will be this, if not page dot is valid or page dot is valid. Hope you have got what I am trying to deliver to you. Page dot validators, it's a collection of all validators in that page. Yes, we can disable the validation control if we don't want them to work on both client and server side. Enabled equals to false. Yes, obviously, if you don't want a validator control to perform at neither at client side nor at server side, just say enabled equals to false. The server controls which can be validated using validation controls are text boxes, drop down list, file upload control, etc. We cannot use these validators for all the controls like checkbox, radio button. We cannot use, only for Some of the controls like text box, radio button, file upload, only those controls can be validated by using validation controls. Not all the controls can be validated like radio button, like that. Getting? So this is your validation topic, validation controls. Any doubts? Most welcome. That's why. Getting?
Yeah, I got everything, but I think I was a little bit tired today.
Okay, okay.
Was a little bit hard for me to grasp everything.
Yeah, I can understand as you are trying very hard for the timings and all those things. But all,
I
yeah, Shubha.
I did not understand the last thing you explained about the server processing, like the page not valid, is valid. Sorry.
Okay. What about Arif? So, Shubha, ask to Arif, she'll explain.
not so tricky.
It was a joke, okay? Let me.
It was not so nice joke.
Hey, come on, I was just joking. So,
No, it's fine, so bad.
no, 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 actually, we used to do here like this only. Okay, so let me explain you one more time. The last thing is nothing but see if if you have developed a web page, in that web page you have mentioned you have taken some validation controls, and as a ASP.NET developer you have given some functionality in the button click that the if the validator's error is not there, just store this information into the database. You have given that. Okay, it was working fine. So when I used that web page, what you developed, I thought of that okay, it is not allowing me to submit the page because some errors are there, validation errors are there. But I have got that URL because I know the page extension is .aspx, and even I am a .aspx developer. I know that how to disable these validators on a page. I will, because these validators are nothing but JavaScript functions will be appended. Okay, JavaScript functions. So what I'll do, I'll go to my internet browser and I will disable the JavaScript like how I have done over here. I just went to the settings of my Internet Explorer, tools, options, internet options, then in the security tab you will find custom level. Okay, in the security tab you will find custom level. In the custom level, here there will be option to you that yeah, scripting. Within the scripting you will find active scripting, disable or enable. If you say prompt means every time it will prompt you to enable or disable. So I said disable. I don't want any JavaScript function to be executed on my web browser, Internet Explorer. So after that, when I set this property, immediately I have seen that I am able to submit the form to the server, like here. So this should not happen. Even though the client side JavaScript is disabled, you need to check at server side. You need to check those things at server side. How you are going to check